I don't know if I'm reaching anyone, but I'm trying anyway. My name is Suki Belcourt. I'm in Mammoth Cave in west central Kentucky. My coordinates are 37 degrees, 18 minutes, and 62 seconds north, and 86 degrees, 10 minutes, and 0 seconds west. I don't know if anyone can hear me out here, but it's a safe place from the storms. There's water nearby and access to food. This broadcast is for anyone who needs shelter. Come to Mammoth Cave. This story of the Goatman Bridge was found on WeDentonDoIt.com and written by Sean Treat, who is the founder of Denton Haunts, a historical ghost tour, as well as aspects and pieces from Reddit's r/paranormal as well. When I was a kid, my family lived in Deadwood, South Dakota, a town packed with histories and stories. Our family specifically was really large. We were no more than 10 miles away, and there were cousins and aunts and grandparents all living right by one another. One of my favorite memories was going out to camp in the Black Hills. There were 2 RVs to fit us all as kids, and we shared tents, and we played so many games. We tried to see who could stay up the latest or see the sunrise. I remember hiking and learning how to forage mushrooms and plants and taking them back to the RV, and we had dinner that night with all the food we collected during the day. It was one of the coolest experiences of my life. Sometime in 1930, on a Denton, Texas farm, Oscar Washburn had the nickname Goatman for his high-quality meat, milk, and cheese. One day, Washburn put a sign up for advertising his business on the old Alton Bridge. It read simply, "This way to the Goatman." A gang of local KKK members, Ku Klux Klan, became enraged by Washburn's successes and sign and planned something completely sinister. In the late hours of the night, they broke into his home, kidnapped him from his bed, and dragged him out. They beat him almost to death and took him to the bridge where he had left his offensive sign and put a noose around his neck, put him over the side, hanging over the river. When they went to go check out their handiwork, Oscar Washburn was gone, just a noose and nothing left. Then the Klansmen searched and searched for Oscar around the area. In their panic, they went back to the Washburn home, set a fire to the building, and the Washburn family, the wife and children inside, screaming. Washburn was never seen again, and a vengeful presence was left in its wake haunting the old Alton Bridge. My father and I lived in an old cabin when I was 12 or 13, one he inherited from his great-grandfather, but it was really old and run down and lost power often. It was a few years before he ever thought to buy a generator, and on those colder winter nights we would set up sleeping bags by the fireplace with warm cocoa and tell each other stories about all sorts of things. Mostly scary ones, sometimes. True, sometimes they had monsters in them. Sometimes they were just about people. We would just talk and tell stories for hours. The year was 1860. In Copper Canyon, the cowboys around took it upon themselves to lynch a Creole slave, Jack Kendall. Kendall was a goat herder and was hung on a tree that sat near the bank of the river where the bridge is now. Somehow things went wrong, and to the cowboy's horror, the head became separated from its body. Jack's head, still hanging from the noose, and the body on the ground, stood up from the mud, walked on its own, went over to the herd of goats, and replaced its head with a goat's head instead. It was said if you knock 3 times on the bridge at midnight, or turn your car lights off and honk 3 times, it summons the Goatman. If you are a descendant of a Klansman or a slave owner, judgment will be brought upon you. many other things said about the bridge. All at the same time, there was a demonic entity named Steve that liked to, of course, dominate women and people, specifically women. People had scary encounters on the bridge, but something I find interesting, that there used to be Satanist groups around the area, teenagers honestly having rituals and partying in the 80s and 90s, and then in more recent times, before the weather catastrophe, and the earth deciding to take back its vengeance, it was just a place for racist Klans members to hang out. So that never changed. It's just a legend. There is no Goatman chasing away slave owners. Funny. Maybe I'll go one day. Who knows? We were told more than a few stories as kids, some of them scary, but most of the time they were family stories. Nothing as terrifying as the story I told earlier, but I was very easy to scare as a kid. We all scared ourselves as kids. Now, though, I don't need stories to scare me. I just go outside. That is scary.